Welcome to WorkSpan TV. I'm Marcia Rhodes for WorldatWork, and today we're discussing workplace flexibility. And with me are Kyra Cavanaugh and Kathy Kacher. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Kyra, let's start with you.
Sure.
I've heard you say that flexibility is the secret sauce. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I mean the secret sauce because I've determined that through all of the studies that have been done over the last 15 years that there are over 15 different bottom line benefits to flexibility. So sometimes people think about flex as having like, what's the magic bullet? What's that one thing that will help us sell flexibility into our workplace? But what I really encourage organizations to do and to think about is, gosh, what is that strategic objective that you have for the year, and how can flexibility tie in with that so that you can be selling flexibility within your organization as being part of that strategic imperative or that initiative that is so important to your senior management. So when we talk about the secret sauce, it's really that it's a way for HR and work life and diversity professionals to be part of that strategic conversation within the organization and to use flexibility as a way to have a seat at the table to be able to offer up a key strategy for helping organizations achieve their business objective for the year.
The 15 things that you were talking about. Let's hone in on one or two of them. For example, real estate.
So real estate actually has been a hot topic over the last few years, given the recession and the pressure on organizations to cut costs. And so if you think about, gosh, what is one of the biggest expenses within an organization? Certainly, depending on the size of the organization, real estate's going to be huge. So what we saw during the recession was really organizations looking at that real estate line and saying, gosh, we could, by having people work from home and give up their office space, we could dramatically cut costs. And so what happened was a lot of organizations sent people to work from home, but didn't necessarily think about the impact on the organization. How is that team going to work? How is the team going to communicate? How are managers going to manage people that they can't necessarily see? And so we saw flexibility being used in terms of telecommuting to reduce real estate costs. So it's been an important objective. I think the question is what happens going forward. It isn't necessarily just a cost-cutting measure. Now that we're really focused on growth coming out of the recession, it means that organizations are really looking for new ways to support that growth. We're seeing increases in the number of people that are being hired, right? And so what are we going to do? Where are we going to put all those people?
Now, what would you say to HR practitioners or work-life practitioners who are having to still build a business case for workplace flexibility? Kathy?
We know flexibility is a solution, right? It's a solution, but here's the question. What's the problem? What's your problem? And that's what the HR practitioners have to ask themselves. What is your problem today? Some organizations might be dealing with some compliance issues. Maybe it's FMLA. Maybe they're realizing they're looking at some data points and they see they have some turnover in the area of people returning from a leave of absence. Perhaps they notice, as one organization had, 25% of their employees were leaving the organization within 3 months of returning from a leave of absence. That's an issue. That's an issue you can definitely put a dollar amount to, and you can take it up the chain to your leadership and say, hey, this is costing us $4.5 million every year. We propose that we do a phased return to work. We utilize flexibility, we leverage flexibility to save the organization money, because so many times it is thought of or framed as it's nice to do, it's to accommodate the employee. It's not. Here is your hot button issue, here is the dollar it's costing, here is the solution applied to the correct problem that's going to get the traction to make sure it's supported across all levels of the organization.
What are some of the new and innovative ways that companies are using flexibility these days?
Well, I think one of the things that's important to play off of what Kathy was saying was a lot of times HR practitioners will find themselves in the position of having to maybe initiate a new flexible work program or to try to improve the one that they have. A lot of times we feel like, gosh, the burden is on us to try to manage that. And so one of the things that we talk about is the fact that we really can be asking employees, what do they want to see? What would work for them? Or even better, asking employees within teams, what kinds of flexibility would work for you? Asking managers, what kind of flexibility is possible in a quality assurance department or in a retail environment? And so to really start to engage that conversation. I think at the same time, we really need to be thinking about who else in the organization can be helping the HR practitioner build a case, build that business case for flexibility. What information does the real estate department have? What information does legal have? What information does IT have? How can we be combining the initiatives in our organization and the expertise within our organization to help build that business case together? It doesn't just have to rest solely on our shoulders.
Now, I agree it's important to ask employees, but what can you say about management buy-in? How critical is that?
Oh, flexibility will fail terribly without management buy-in, and that's a mistake that organizations make over and over. They create a policy, they have perhaps a celebration, everybody signs off on it, they put it on the internet, and then it sits there for all to see. But nobody knows really how to use it. Nobody knows who is supporting it. Managers aren't sure. If you're thinking about having employees telework, how in the world do I manage a remote team? So without the proper manager training and proper manager buy-in, and most of all, proper management education, they will not be able to support telework because they can't support what they don't understand. But when you were asking about unique opportunities for flexibility, we have been seeing more and more organizations utilizing flexibility on their low-wage workforces.
Interesting.
Yes. So if you have a workforce, hourly workers, the challenges around that are turnover is usually very, very high. Engagement, probably not 100%. And what organizations are finding that is they give autonomy to those hourly workers and give them some control about when and how they get their work done and some control over their scheduling, that they have reduced turnover by 50%. And engagement is up. I wish I could recall the number, but engagement is up, turnover is down. That's a win-win, especially in an hourly environment. So I thought that was very strategic and new for organizations to get out and start utilizing.
I think one of the challenges is that middle managers didn't grow up with this environment, nor did senior managers, really. So I often say that it's sort of like the emperor has no clothes, that if we implement flexibility or telework within a team, it means the manager is going to be exposed. What are my skills as a manager? How well was I trained as a manager? You know, many managers are promoted to manager because they were really good at the functional job they had to do. So now this requires a whole new set of tools, and on top of all the work we have to do on a day in, day out basis to get the job done. And so a lot of times it's just a matter of sitting down with the managers, helping them understand that that discomfort is normal and it's natural, and giving them some tools that will really help them improve communication and monitor performance and build that really strong sense of team. I think the other issue with senior leadership oftentimes is when an HR professional is the one who's leading the charge for flexibility. Oftentimes senior leadership, when they're signing off, they don't necessarily understand what's involved. They don't understand necessarily that this isn't just signing off on another program. This is about culture change. This is about change management. This is about walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And so there are a lot of kind of sticky issues that really take years to sort of strategize solutions around and to really start to resolve.
I think you hit the nail on the head that culture and change management is the key to success and flexibility.
It really is.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For WorldatWork, I'm Marcia Rhodes.